Peace. Rami. And do a little reading today. Teachings of Ptahhotep, the oldest book in the world. If you are a person who judges, listen carefully to the speech of one who pleads. Don't stop the person from telling you everything they had planned to tell you. A person in distress wants to pour out his or her heart even more than they want their case to be won. If you are one who stops a person who is pleading, that person will say, "Why does he reject my plea?" Of course, not all that one pleads for can be granted, but a good hearing soothes the heart. The means for getting a true and clear explanation is to listen with kindness. If you want to have perfect conduct, to be free from every evil, then above all guard against the vice of greed. Greed is a grievous sickness that has no cure. There is no treatment for it. It embroils fathers, mothers, and the brothers of the mother. It parts the wife from the husband. Greed is a compound of all the evils. It is a bundle of all hateful things. If you are angered by a misdeed, then lean toward a man on account of his rightness. Pass over the misdeed and don't remember it, since God was silent to you on the first day of your misdeed. If you are great after having been humble, if you have gained your wealth after having been poor, and then go to a town that you know and that knows your former condition, don't put your trust in your newly acquired wealth, which has come to you as a gift of God. If you do, one day someone there who is poor may very well overtake you. And I also want to read World's Great Men of Color, Volume 2, J.A. Rodgers. Saint Maurice of Agaunum, Roman general and saint of the Catholic Church, c.A.D. 287. Of the details of the life of Saint Maurice, few are known. Even his real name is lost. His surname has survived because he was black. Maurice is derived from Latin and means like a Moor. Moor was the popular term for Negroes all over Europe, and its use persisted long after Shakespeare. The little that is known of Saint Maurice, however, rings through the ages. Saint Maurice was a general of Rome at the time that the capital of the world was ruled jointly by Diocletian and Maximian Herculeus. He was in command of a legion believed to have been composed of black men in the Roman province of Mauritania, or probably even in Upper Egypt, and was ordered from there to Rome in AD 287, a critical time in Roman history. Despite the lash, the red-hot irons, the gladiators, and all the tortures they were being subjected to, the Christians would not yield. The new gospel was spreading like wildfire. The believers were emerging from the catacombs until, like a tiny plant in a crevice which finally splits a rock asunder, the Christians threatened the very throne of the Caesars. To cope with them, Maximian and the Diocletian made a hasty peace with the tribes on the outskirts of the vast empire and called as many soldiers as possible to Rome. Stall tactic. The influence of the Christians had spread to Gaul, and their slaves were in revolt. When Saint Maurice and his legion arrived at Rome, they were dispatched to suppress the uprising. Upon reaching Agaunum, a desolate region in what is now Switzerland, he learned that the people he was sent to suppress were Christians. Stunned by this knowledge, because he and his men were also Christians, he assembled his men and told them that he intended to go no further. The soldiers held the decision. With touching honesty, St. Maurice reminded them of a certain fate that awaited them. But they did not flinch, on which St. Maurice sent a message to the emperors informing them of his decision. Maximian was resting at Agaunum when the news reached him. In high rage, he assembled an army and set out for Agaunum. When he arrived, he found the African legion calmly waiting for him. His first order was to command St. Maurice and his men to sacrifice to the pagan gods. They refused. Addressing the emperor, St. Maurice said, "Sire, we are soldiers, but we are also servitors of Christ, a fact that we proudly confess. To you we owe military service, to him the homage of a pure and innocent life. From you we receive our pay, from him we hold the benefit of life. That is why, sire, we cannot obey you without denying God, the creator of all things, our master as well as yours, whether you acknowledge it or not." The emperor, in a rage, ordered the usual punishment, decimation. Every 10th man was to be killed. The men were ordered to number, and every 10th was made to step out. 600 came forward. The emperor now called on these to submit, promising them promotion and wealth. Despite all inducements and entreaties, they would not yield, whereupon they were killed. Confident the others had been taught a lesson, the emperor again gave the order for sacrifice, but there was no response. The survivors, instead bidding one another to be courageous in the name of Christ, again every 10th man was called forward, and again each fell under the sword. For the third time the emperor ordered obedience. For the third time he failed. "We have seen our companions fall under the sword," replied St. Maurice. We have been spattered with their blood. We do not grieve for them. We rather envy them the privilege of dying for the one who died on the cross for us. Do what you will. No terror or torture can frighten us. We are ready to die. We boldly confess that we are Christians and that we cannot attack fellow Christians. Finding the men inflexible, the emperor ordered the remainder put to death. Only a few of the original 6,000 escaped to Germany and Italy. Among the dead was St. Maurice.